Just have to take a quick minute to thank our sponsors, Yellow Dog Paddle, Mackin's Rippin Fishing Trips, Xpedition Fly Fishing, NJFishing.com, and 8-Ball Sportfishing. Also have to thank our supporters, Mike K's Guide Service, Psycho Jigs, Lip Glue, FC Fish Company, Nor'easter Hardcore Apparel, Toggy Time Jigs, the Mimmi Sick, and the Gambler. Eddie Mackin's Rippin' Lips fishing trips. The fishing continues to be phenomenal on Lake Mackin. Eddie continues to pound on the walleye, and the hybrid striped bass have now shown up in the mix. Red eye trips are still available. If you have no one to fish with, Eddie will pair you with someone he has ready to fish with you. So call Mackin's Rippin' Lips fishing trips today. Yellow Dog Paddle is continuing to fish Round Valley Reservoir right now. May is one of the best months of the year to fish that reservoir, especially for big trout. Also offering lessons if you have your own boat and want to learn how to do the trolling spread. Mike will show you that. Also a frequent flyer pass. If you want to go a few times a year with them, you can go at a discounted rate. Great for retired people. So check out Yellow Dog Paddle today. Hello and welcome to episode number 100 of the NJ Multi-Species Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Santiago. As always, my partner, Chris Pereira.
The 100th episode, Joe?
100th. We have been here for 100 episodes.
This is definitely not the 105th or 6th episode.
No, this is the official 100th. If you don't believe me, check the cover photo of the episode. It is 100. So yeah, we made it. 100 episodes. Deuce is here to also somehow the three of us are still here, all still three alive and living. It's been quite a journey, starting from just 3 cell phones to what we have become now. I'm wearing a shirt with a logo on it 100 episodes later. Quite a journey. Met a lot of people. It's all been really unbelievable. We have a very special guest lined up for everyone tonight. And it's really kind of a thank you to everyone who comes on all our trips and our parties and the community that we've built. And just thank you. I don't know really much more to say than that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even, we didn't even really, it's not that we built it. We just like provided this place with these things in it. And people, I mean, all the anglers built it by joining and participating in it. And I think that, I mean, that's the coolest part. And I don't know. 98% of them are cool. 2% of them are douchebags that I hate. But for the most part, that's pretty good percentages.
And then there's 1% that's Dwayne.
I like Dwayne.
I don't.
No?
No, he's horrible.
Why?
I'm not getting into it. That's a whole episode on itself. Why is Dwayne horrible?
You still haven't been able to get him to come on.
He won't come on. Why would he come on? He's horrible. Does nothing. But yeah, it's been a really long road. Some of it's been stressful. Some of it's been fun. We've got to meet a lot of really cool people, got to fish a lot of really cool places, some really cool experiences, and a lot of work and a lot of pain in the ass. But there is a payback to it all. And 100 episodes later, we're still here, and it's a lot different and more evolved. So
suffer for the fishing podcast.
Suffer for the podcast, yeah. Tonight's guest that we've been hiding and waiting to produce is Mr. John Skinner from Skinner Fishing. Probably the most famous and well-known content creator from the tri-state area. makes amazing fishing videos, has an unbelievable YouTube channel. Figured he was basically the perfect guest for us for this. And Mr. Skinner's basically ready to come in right now.
I can't believe you used the double C word to describe him.
What is it? Oh, yeah, he doesn't. I know we're going to talk to him about that too. So, John Skinner, Skinner Fishing. I have a million questions for him. I'm ready to just burst at the seams asking him shit already. So let's bring him in. And yeah, let's bring in John Skinner. Xpedition Fly Fishing, now catering to all your fly fishing needs in the Catskills, specializing in drift boat trips on the West Branch of the Delaware River. Beautiful scenery in the Catskills. He does also cater to the Willowemac and Beaverkill in waders, but the drift boat and fly trips on the West Branch are his specialty. Really nice pictures being posted right now. Xpedition Fly Fishing. Check out Joey X. So we have our guest here, John Skinner. John, welcome to the NJ Multi-Species Podcast.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. How's it going, John?
Great.
So right away, I don't know where to even start, John, with you because
can I start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because the first thing before we get into the fishing stuff, I want to know. So, John, you don't know this, but we currently just recorded our 102nd episode, but we never recorded a 100th episode. Joe wanted to save the 100th episode for something really special. And when you had time to do an episode with us, he said, that's the 100th episode. So we skipped the 100th episode, and it's actually going to be like the 106th episode, but it's getting posted as a 100th episode. So I just want to know, do you feel honored, or do you think Joe's an idiot?
I don't know Joe well enough to know if he's an idiot, but yeah, I'm honored. Sure. Yeah.
All right,
go ahead,
Joe. Can we take to fishing now?
Go ahead. Yeah.
John, I got to go right back to the beginning. Where do you, in your fishing career, say, okay, I want to make this switch over from, actually fishing to now showing it on camera?
Well, so I never intended it to become what it is today. I mean, that was complete accident. But I do know what caused me to start doing YouTube videos. So, I do seminars and stuff, and I was giving a seminar up in Rhode Island to one of the clubs, and the big one, the Risa Club, and it was on light tackle fluke bucktailing, and this was like 2009. And I'm trying to convince these bait draggers that you don't need that stuff. All you need is a light rig with a bucktail and a gulp grub, and you can hammer fluke better than you're going to hammer with the squid and Achilles and all that stuff. And I could just tell that audience was not buying it. And the whole time I'm giving that talk, I'm saying, man, if I had video, So the very first trip, in fact, it was May 16th, and I can't remember if it was 2009 or 2010, but it's up on the channel. My kids and I, and the kids were like 10 years old or something like that. No, they were like 7 and 8. So they took turns. There was no GoPro or anything back then. So we had a flip camera and a $30 waterproof housing, and the kids took turns holding the camera. So one kid would fish with me, and the other kid would hold the camera, and the next drift they'd switch. And so I posted it. I decided to post it to YouTube, and but I wanted to use it for talks. And the funny thing was, I don't know, a few days or something after that, YouTube contacts me about revenue sharing, and I just was convinced that was a scam. And so I, searched it every which way and said, it's not a scam. And, before you knew it, I like would earn $1, I mean, it's serious, like $1,
But just off of one, so on one video post, like you made the account, posted this one first video, and it did well enough for them to start.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
And that the chat, I mean, you could look at the beginning of the channel, you'll see. In fact, back then, I think the limit for a video was either 5 or 10 minutes. I can't remember what it was, but I had to break the video up into part 1 and part 2. And by the way, my kids and I, no teaser, just, like a 3/4 ounce bucktail, a 3-inch gulp, swimming mullet at the time. They didn't have the 4-inch grubs. We crushed them. The limit back then was 2 fish at 21 inches. I've never seen better fluke fishing in this area, other than when they had that strict limit. But we just crushed them, 5-pounder after 5-pounder. It was great.
Now, I only started fishing around that same time that you posted this video, so I don't really know much about the fishing before that. And for you to tell me that guys didn't believe that a little, a smaller bucktail and some gulp could really crush the fluke, it seems crazy to me.
Well, that's because you started when you did. Now,
right?
If if you'd started earlier, hey, look, anybody my age remembers that before you go fluke fishing, you have to get bait, and that means dragging nets or traps, or to get nice live bait, killies and shiners and sand eels and all kinds of stuff, and or squid fishing. Yeah. So I know, like, 2 seasons before I got into the gulp, I had a great haul of squid fishing off one of the docks in Montauk, and so that's what we were using. And then what happened was, one day the fluke was just hitting like crazy, and I got sick of cutting squid, and I had a jar of gulp in the boat that had been there since the previous season. I said, let's see what this stuff's about. And all our keepers came on that stuff. And then we started putting it up against the squid and killie, or squid and shine, or whatever it was, and spearing. And didn't take too long before I was like, well, I don't need bait anymore. This is way better. Because, one of the big things is, when you miss a hit with bait, the first thing you think about, hey, did I lose my bait?
Yeah.
You don't worry about that with the gulp. And, if you watch the underwater, I've got a lot of underwater fluke video. When you watch that stuff, you see that those fish come back over and over again. The worst time to pull your rig out of the water is after you've just missed a fluke. You want to stay down and get that fluke. Yeah.
And even if they bite the tail off,
you just keep it moving, man. Just, it's still, they get annoyed. I see over and over, like, because the underwater video, the hooks have hook protectors. Thing comes out of its mouth 6 times, 7 times. Stupid thing just keeps going after it over and over and over and over. Yeah.
Joe, when he said that, like, this whole audience, like, didn't believe him about the jigs and the gulp because you fish fluke with bait, it reminded me of, like, when I first started fishing with John. Or by John, he's like this real old school angler, right? And he would drag the bait, and I'm using bucktails because, like I said, I just started fishing, 2007, 2008, whatever it was, and I'm using the bucktails, and despite it out fishing the bait, he couldn't let go of that old school way. Like, it had to be like, he had to just keep seeing it happen and happen and happen. And then eventually you just can't deny it any longer.
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of.
My next question was going to lead to the underwater stuff, because I'm pretty sure that's how I found your channel years ago, because that is like, it's really unique. Even we make tons of fishing videos, but we don't do underwater. You do so many underwater saltwater videos, and they're amazing. You have ones where you even watch, like, tog bites building up. What made you come up with that idea where you said, I want to see this all, like, underwater now?
Well, I did a lot of scuba diving. So I kind of wanted to show people what's going on down there. But the other thing was, people have misconceptions about, I mean, come on. You read articles about Blackfish where they tell you the right thing for the wrong reason. They tell you got to wait. And the reason they're telling you to wait is so that the bait gets moved back to their crushing teeth. Or, first of all, how does anybody know that? But the other thing is that the underwater video shows that no, that's not what's happening. What's happening is you're putting down and you're getting a bunch of little bites, which I guess people interpreted as the fish is like pecking on it. Oh, but then it really gets it. But no, when you put down, you get a bite. It's not a fish. It's 10 fish. There's so many smaller fish and and sea bass and porgies and then the blackfish picks it up and swims and you feel that, and to show people that is great. But the best was showing people where you drag a fresh strip of meat and the fluke just bypass it every time because they see that bouncing rig and the motion. They're drawn to the motion. Now, yeah, I wanted people to see that as you should see the contraption I had to rig up to get a side view of a bucktail and a teaser, because you can't jig the camera, it'd be shaking. Yeah. But I thought it'd be cool to see. Yeah.
I was gonna say you had to have. The most surprising part of this is that nobody did this successfully before you. Like, it seems like I want to see what's happening down there. Like, I'm sure people have tried it, but I was going to say you had to have invented some kind of rigging or technique to do this the way you do it.
Yeah, if I showed it to you, you'd get a heck of a laugh out of what I mean. It really is like it was like the end of the wooden end of a shovel, the handle, and then cable tied a ruler on and make a little airplane out of it, and cable tied a GoPro mount onto that, and then so then of course the whole thing flips over, right? So you've got to hang sinkers off the bottom of this thing to keep it upright. Oh yeah, no, it's crazy. It's a work of art, I'll tell you. Yeah, so it's pretty funny looking.
Is it safe to say then that maybe fluke aren't usually as line shy as some people think they are? If they're hitting lure that many times?
Oh yeah, no, they're not. They're not line shy. No.
John, I noticed when you first came in, I referred to you as a content creator, and you didn't like that. You want to just touch on why you don't like being called a content creator?
You see the reaction, because there are people out there, and nothing against them, but I think they've probably fished more of their life with a camera than without. And I have decades and decades of being an obsessive fisherman, surf, all kinds of things, and then I got into the writing. I was writing before there was YouTube, and the seminars were part of that, and the as I mentioned, the videos only came because I'm sitting there looking at these guys going, half of these guys have been jigging squid the last couple of nights so that they can go fluke fishing. They don't need to do that. I need to get some video to convince them, and then one thing leads to another, right? And that's how it goes, so I was, a lot of things in addition to being a content creator, and anybody can be, there's a lot of people out there who get a lot of views, and I'm not just talking about fishing. I'm talking about there's a lot of content creators that, yeah. So, yeah.
I really felt it when you huffed when Joe asked you that question the first time. Unfortunately, we weren't recording yet. That's why I hate when Joe speaks before we're ready to record, because he always wastes great stuff.
It's hilarious.
But it is true. I am a content creator, and incredibly, I'm an influencer. These are facts.
He's probably
these are facts.
He's probably the most famous content creator, definitely saltwater fishing wise, from the tri-state area. And he doesn't want to be one.
Well, it's not that I don't want to be one. It's that I don't want to be defined by it. Yeah, that's
well, I mean, the video work it's amazing though. The videos are unbelievable to watch. A lot of shit on YouTube's really boring, especially fishing videos get really boring, but somehow your videos aren't boring. Like, they're unique. And it is, I could tell how much work it takes probably to make those videos. I'm sure it's a pain in the ass, but it is appreciated.
Yeah. And they're not as polished. There's others that do a more cinematic, do better cinematically. But
but yours
I'm
are
so
to the
damn
point.
focused on the fishing that it's funny because some of these guys, they're the content creators, whatever, fishermen, YouTubers, whatever you want to call them. They are out there to make a show, so they're talking the whole time. And the funny thing is, I go out, like I was out by myself this morning and I had a bunch of bass, and I don't know if I ever said anything. I don't know if I ever said a word. And that is like not what you're supposed to do if you're making videos for you. Oh yeah, at the beginning of the video, at least now I'll hold the camera up and do an intro. Oh, good morning, yada yada, 10, 15 seconds, whatever. I didn't even used to do that, but at least I do that now. But then once I get out there, I'm fishing, because most of my life I was just freaking fishing. I wasn't making a TV show, so I can't break out of that mindset that I'm fishing. But the camera's there. All to me, just feed the camera with batteries if needed, and try to make sure it's on and don't get it too wet,
Yeah.
But I understand I'm supposed to be out there going, blah, 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 well, the whole time I'm fishing, I can't do it. Yeah.
See, Joe yells at me, right? So we film fishing videos, not like yours. Just, we go out fishing, we film it, we try to make some cool videos so people can watch it. Just because the podcast itself is not quite enough to keep the YouTube channel like successful enough. But Joe always yells at me like, I'll catch a fish. And did you turn the camera on? I'm like, nah, I forgot. I just forget. It's like I'm fishing. Like I feel what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm fishing, and I wish I could remember to turn the camera on, but I usually don't.
Never does.
But let me ask you this, John, just to piggyback off of that. Like, so most guys, like most anglers, right? If they figure something out, or something that they're doing that's different than everyone else, like really works really well, they like try to keep it a secret. So when you figure out this new stuff, you want to teach people, like you want to spread the knowledge, and I think it's just great. Like I think there should be more of that. But like, how do you get to that point? Like, what would you say to guys that try to keep everything a secret and they don't want to share anything? And by the way, those same guys are on the internet taking in as much information as they can. They just don't share anything back.
So information comes in many forms. So one thing I try very hard not to do, I don't give up spot. I don't do spots.
Right.
I rarely say where. I have actually 2 fishing spots. I'll tell you what they are right now. I have Eastern Long Island and I'm Southwest Florida. Those are my 2 spots. And
they're good.
I rarely get more granular than that. Now, of course, people can figure out where I am and a lot of the stuff, but I'll tell you what, a lot of times when I'm on the beach, you're not going to figure out where I am. And people are like, all I see is water and a bent rod. I work very hard to protect spots, and people make the immediate assumption is because I'm a selfish prick and I don't want people, but to know what I know. But part of the thing is I don't want to screw up. I mean, I think about the guy who's not doing what I'm doing with stupid YouTube, and the guy's been fishing a spot for 30 years, and now somebody's going to come along and screw that up for him. That's the guy I'm worried about. I'm worried about the guy next to me, not me. I'll find more spots, or if I burn my own spot, well, that's my problem, right? But I don't want to make it somebody else's problem. So anyway, so that's one aspect of it, is that I work very hard to not burn secret stuff. Now, look, if you're out in a very well-known area, I mean, look, today I was in Peconic at a well-known rip. Anybody in the area is going to look at that and know what it is. All right, not a problem with that.
You were blue fishing, right? Were you blue fishing?
No, that was my video that went up today. Today I had bass. Okay, great example. You go ahead, you watch that video, and then you tell me. You don't know the area, but
I don't know the area, but I saw the video.
Yeah, well, you didn't see a whole heck of a lot of landmarks, and even people from around here are going to have a hard time knowing where that little rip was. There's a good example. So I don't want to screw up the guy who fishes that spot, that kind of thing. Yeah. All right. But the other kind of stuff, I laugh at this bit about secret lures. Oh, give me a freaking break. The big one was, spooks or secret. What is it you're worried about? I just think it's so silly to have secret lures or secret techniques. Are you afraid you're going to tell somebody something and they're going to catch your fish? They're going to catch your fish if you give them your spot. If you tell him what plug you caught him on, and he catches one in his town on that lure, what's the problem? Yeah, so I'm on the extremes there, right? I'm like, spots are sacred. To me, where is a 4-letter word, but lures, your techniques, come on now.
Oh, even with the spots, I mean, we've filmed a video where like maybe a little bit of the shoreline gets in the video, and you see like a weird looking tree in a certain rock, and guys will message us, dude, you're burning the spot. You're gonna ruin the whole place.
Well, no.
And I'm like, well, nobody said where that was, and the only reason you recognize that tree, if you did recognize it, is because you fished there already.
Right. That's a great point, and that is one of the tests for me. Is that if the only way somebody's going to know the spot is because they've already fished it, well, then I'm not giving anything away. But if Joe Blow from, 100 miles away or even just, lives in the area, but, if they can find it from that, well, then I've not done a good thing,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
John, before we ruin your entire night, we have a couple people emailed you in questions. I want to make sure I get in, and then we'll let you go to bed or away from us at least, so you could cheer up, because we know we're horrible.
Maybe he's going night fishing.
He could be, very much. Luke, Pukey Luke, he wants to know in general how you came to know so much about surf fishing.
So I think I was lucky that when I was like 10, we moved within walking distance of Long Island Sound. So from when I was a little kid, I could just go. I didn't need somebody to take me, and it was at a time where that was okay. If you're a 10 or 11, 12-year-old kid wanted to, go down the road, down the staircase, and go to the beach, you didn't worry about it, and so I was able to do a lot of fishing. I mean, there was some bass and blues, and then it was okay. It wasn't, top shelf spot, but there were fish. So I got to learn a lot just when I was a kid. And look, I've got a science background. I, apply that kind of mindset to fishing. So I think that's helped me a lot as well.
And everyone knows you learn more about fishing on those tougher days than you do on the day where anything you throw out there catches a fish.
Yeah,
I mean, so if you're learning to fish in a tougher spot, I think you'd be better off in the long run, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you may not know it at that time, but I think in hindsight, at least.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Jerry Zagorski from NJFishing.com wants to know. He says he sees a lot of your blackfishing videos where you're doing pretty good and putting up decent numbers. Doesn't know how recent they are. Wants to know what you're seeing as far as a decline in blackfishing populations where you fish. Well,
we're on the North Fork of Long Island. I hate to use the word inundated with them, but as far as like, I'm not talking about the big ones, but I do get some pretty decent ones. It's very, very good out here on the North Fork. But I know if I go back 25 miles west on the Sound, it's not going to be as good. But because I used to live there. But yeah, on the North Fork, it's loaded. And then we go out to Fisher's Island and Plum Island. I'm just in a really good place for blackfish. There's a lot of them now. probably the size isn't what it was many years ago. But the thing is, I wasn't fishing the North Fork all of those years ago. Just because there's less blackfish to the west doesn't mean they're any difference in size. So that fishery seems healthy to me, but maybe the size isn't quite what it should be.
So you haven't seen that? You haven't really seen it that much of a decline, other than a little bit of the size, I guess you're saying.
Well, and I haven't even. So I've lived on the North Fork, I guess 8 years now. Maybe this is my 8th season, 2017. 8 seasons, I guess. I fished the North Fork all my life, but not for blackfish. But now that I live out here, it's where I blackfish, and it's great all the time.
We've been having the last couple of seasons have been kind of declining. I'd say from like the Sandy Hook Reef area to the reefs coming out of Manasquan area, and it seems to be around the board. And I mean, like, guys will still have a good day, but it seems like the guys who are having good days consistently are having to travel further and further, either out or south or north towards the New York waters and stuff. I think, and that's probably why he asked that question, because that's where he usually fishes. And it's kind of surprising to see that a fishery so close by isn't experiencing the same type of
this is what happens to fisheries. They contract, right? I mean, you can think about, if I've got a glass of water here, if you pour it out and it starts drying up, right, there's still water in the middle after some time, but it's gotten smaller, and the ends and the sides have contracted, and that's the way fish are sometimes. I'm not seeing it because I'm in the middle of that great spot, but maybe on the fringes, not so much, and maybe that's what's happening with blackfish, and I don't see it because, it's ridiculous. I'm fishing either the North Fork or I'm going out to Fisher's Island. It's just, these are great blackfish fisheries.
But fluke is your number one, right? Is that your favorite species, Char? You don't even care what you fish for.
There you go. I'm probably more right. So I probably prefer stripers. I do a lot of fluke fishing.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm surprised by that answer, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, this is, there's a business aspect to what I do too. And I don't want to say I fish for fluke because it's, it's more profitable. That's crazy. But,
it's popular, right?
It is. Well, they're, widespread. Anybody can catch them. It's a great fish for kids. They're great to eat, so and it's challenging, and especially the big ones. But I wouldn't consider them any more of my favorite than striped bass.
That's interesting.
I don't know, because well, Joe, when someone asks you what's your favorite fish to fish for, or if you had to pick one fish to fish,
blackfish,
you'd answer. I mean, blackfish is definitely one of my favorites, but I could never pick a real favorite. I don't think it's like blackfish. Season. It's like depends on the season. It depends on my mood. Sometimes I really like fishing for a certain species.
Whatever it is, it just has to fight straight up and down vertical.
That's what you like?
Yeah. And blackfish is like the ultimate straight up and down to me.
I told you he was weird at the beginning, didn't I?
John.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I would say my favorite fish is tarpon. So, you want your fish straight up and down. I want mine 6 feet in the air. Yeah. Yeah. And that's not an exaggeration. I mean, I
know.
And I'm looking up, man.
We have not had, neither of us have had the pleasure of fishing for tarpon yet.
Chuck says you're going to take us, though.
Well, I'm always down to try, and I'd love to catch every species in existence before I die. It ain't going to happen, but I'll get as many as I can.
John, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to come on here and talk to us. Before you go, for anyone that is watching, do you just want to quickly go over where we could find your books, your channel, your videos?
Well, yeah, I mean, if my books, if you go to johnskinnerfishing.com, you'll find them there. They're also on Amazon, and my YouTube channel is John Skinner Fishing. So it's pretty easy.
And
to
social
find.
media wise, Facebook and Instagram, you don't even really do them, right?
I started making faces again. Yeah. I don't do a lot of social media. Yeah.
That's a very smart move. Hey, wait, John, do you have like 5 more minutes? I
do.
Ask you one more question. So I don't even know if you still have this running or if you have an updated version or something completely new. But years ago, I bought the program that you have to document the fish, the computer program. Did it have a name?
Fisher's Log. Yeah,
Fisher's Log. That's it.
Yeah.
Do you still have some version of that?
So I'll tell you what happened was the payment fulfillment company that would handle the sales. First of all, it hasn't been updated. That thing was put up in like 2009, and I'm proud to say I never I never did any bug fixes at all. It was solid enough. I'm a good software developer. I was anyway. I never had to, fix anything. I mean, it's not perfect, but it was good enough that it kept selling. But, I at some point, maybe 5 years ago, I just stopped promoting it. I just decided, I've got too many other things going on, right? And so the payment fulfillment company suddenly wanted a bunch of money per year just to handle the sales. And since I wasn't promoting it, it was getting to the point that, I was still going to make more. It just wasn't worth it anymore. So the website's still up there, but you can't buy the product. And I realize that's terrible, but there's a technical reason why I haven't redirected that website yet. It happens to be the root of the other websites. So I need to do a little technical work to get that out of there. So no, I don't sell it anymore, but it still works. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I've since not been able to use it anymore because I have had many different computers since then, and I have no idea how I would have transferred it. I'm sure there was a way, but it was keep it going. Yeah. I just didn't.
It's written in Java. So the whole point of Java is, you compile once and it's, runs on all systems. And actually that was quite true. I could run that on Windows, Mac, Linux. I used to, have it on be able to edit it in work on a Mac and edit the same log at home on my Windows computer. And that just worked fine. Yeah.
Yeah, and Joe, do you even know what we're talking about?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, you do. Did you have it?
I did not have it.
This thing was so cool. For anyone that's listening to this that doesn't know what we're talking about, it was a log that John created, and it was more. It was a program, right? And you would go fishing, you'd come back, you'd open your computer, and you'd input the data.
Fishing log. It's just a fishing log, but it made it easy to keep a log, and it had analysis tools. Which was very cool.
That's the coolest part.
Yeah, it was really cool, and you could, and it would print out a written log for you if that's what you wanted, if that's what you felt most comfortable with. It was great, and but again.
Yeah, I just thought it was so cool. I had to bring it up. I almost forgot to ask you because I just remember I'd put in all these trips for a couple of years, and then the next the spring season would be coming around, and I'd go in there and I'd type. You could type in, show me a graph of the trips that I rated as 5.
There you go.
Whatever.
Yeah.
For versus the moon phases, and it would bring up a graph, and it would literally, you could see in a bar graph, I rated a lot of trips 4 and 5 stars when the moon was this or that when I was fishing on Lake.
And you could do the same thing for wind and everything. Yeah, it was
anything.
Quite, yeah. It was
really cool. Is there any? I gotta.
Can I buy this right now? How do I buy it right now?
Yeah, you can't.
You missed the whole beginning of this. Were you asleep?
No, I'm kidding.
Is there like, what do you use? You still use that program because you have access to it, or is there some kind of app? Like, I don't think there's anything like that. I've never heard of anything, and it's crazy to me.
No, but I'm not aware of anybody who has something to that extent like that. Maybe there's something out there now, but I can tell you at the time there wasn't, which is why if there was something, I would have just bought it.
No, there definitely wasn't when you did it. I'm just wondering now, if someone wanted something like that, I don't think there is anything. Is there an app that does that, Joe? Have you heard of anything? I mean, there's like there's basic
like
ones.
Fish Brain, no?
Oh,
no.
Yeah, no. That could be. Yeah, I'm not sure. Hey, you know what? I was a software developer in the day job, and I just wasn't gonna corrupt my rest of my good life with dealing with software,
Yeah, no, that gets in the way of fishing.
Yeah.
So. Are you done with them now, Chris?
Yeah, I could let him go night fishing or sleep, John, whatever he wants to do.
I have to thank you again so much for taking the time for coming on here.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate it, and thank you.
And John, you're welcome on any time if there's ever something you want to talk about or let people know about. I mean, feel free to reach out to us too. I mean, we'd love to have you on in the future too. I mean, there's never a shortage of fishing stuff to talk about with you.
That's right. It's easy. Yeah, it goes very easy. Yeah.
Thank you, guys. John, so much.
All right, you're welcome.
Take care, John.
8-Ball Sport Fishing out of Point Pleasant. Extreme flexibility at an affordable price. This guy, Captain Dom, he offers trips even after work fishing. Does shark fishing trips. Loves to do striper trips with the mini rod. Does sea bass. Basically does everything. We're going to be doing a lot of work with him. So 8-Ball Sport Fishing. You can basically call them for all your 6-pack charter needs immediately. Yeah, so, I mean, just amazing to have John Skinner here. Like I said, 100 episodes ago, basically we were just here with 2 cell phones, and the evolution of now having Skinner here, who's basically like, he doesn't want to be called the content creator, but he's basically the biggest of the big when it comes to it. It's funny that he said it's all an accident, and it became something it wasn't supposed to. And it's really huge. The YouTube channel... I don't watch that much. I watch a lot of YouTube, but not fishing YouTube stuff. But when I do watch fishing YouTube stuff, I do watch a lot of Skinner's videos because you really get to see what's actually happening underwater, and especially on Blackfish, watching it happen it's awesome. You could just lay on the couch for 20 minutes and watch his jig. What's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I watch even less YouTube than you. I don't really watch it for anything. I use YouTube when I need to fix something on my car that I don't know how to get a piece off, but for fishing videos, I mean, you can't replicate the knowledge you get from actually watching this underwater footage of what these fish, whatever particular species, a fluke, sea bass, blackfish, whatever, you can't replicate the knowledge you get from seeing those fish underwater, like the actual footage of how they're behaving to what you're doing with the lure or the rig or whatever. And it's like this invaluable information that before that existed, right? Like he mentioned this, before the video of it existed, guys were just, fishermen will be fishermen. They have something in their imagination and they tell it as a story as if it's what's actually happening. And like he mentioned, the video basically disproved a lot of what these like rumors were going around of what was happening when you would feel something on the end of your
but the
line.
The videos are out there and they still don't listen. They'll still not listen anyway. Like still. But you still got the old timer putting on the Fluke spearing Fluke sandwich, like that's what he uses, and that's what he's sticking with.
It's not like it doesn't work. It just kind of
work. I mean, okay, it just doesn't outfish the other shit. It's like braid versus mono, unless you're Jerry Pastorino, an anomaly. But usually braid is going to murder mono. It's just the way it is. there are anomalies, but you know, Skinner's pretty realistic and like he's right to the point. And like I said, the thing that I appreciate about him is because like you said, we make fishing videos and they're a lot of work. Like you've seen how many fish I've missed because I went to hit the record button on the camera. That's cost me fish. Time when people are fishing at the rail, I'm down below the deck changing batteries on cameras. It adds a lot of work that goes into that. So doing it from what he does with underwater, and he even uses drones underwater. It adds a lot of work. He kind of like played it off there. It's like, oh, I'm just fishing, but I know that it is not easy.
Well, you heard his story about his first video, how he had his kids be the cameraman on rotation. You got 2 kids.
That's true. I should
have
strap
hands.
GoPros.
Yeah, they don't even need hands. Just strap it to them, turn it on them, and say, you sit there and watch Daddy fish.
We should we should tell Deuce to get us some underwater cameras. Everyone I ever bought sucked.
Dude, I just want to fish.
Every underwater camera I ever bought was terrible. And when like Skinner has videos 90 feet down, it's like crystal clear. Like here I'm ice fishing in Jersey in 8 feet of water with a $500 camera. You can't see shit. Like what's going on here? Like
you should have asked him what he uses.
I mean, I kind of know, but it never seems to work right for me. I can't see. It's like freshwater. There's so much sediment in the water, and it's just dark. I can't see shit.
Right,
but it is cool.
You're not going to record underwater videos because you can't compete with John Skinner's videos. So just keep doing what you're doing.
Now I'm challenging Skinner now to challenge him. Chuck used to do that, though. Chuck had the inline cameras on his eel lines, and he watched for years and kept logs where he would see what fish did what and how they acted. And he would watch these underwater cameras. And Chuck isn't a content creator and never even posted those videos. Those were just for his own personal research.
He used to post some on his personal page.
Yeah, I'm sure when he does his seminars, he talks a lot about. But a lot of his knowledge came from those underwater cameras. So it is like a whole nother aspect of fishing that like a lot of people aren't into, the underwater stuff. So really cool to be able to go on YouTube to Skinner Fishing and see it. I mean, you could watch almost any species we have in the area. He has videos of them underwater. So really cool that he came on and just awesome. I don't know what else to say. Next week we have we don't even have a guest next week because we don't know when this episode's being aired. Because just a special episode, so it's pretty much over. The 100th episode's over. We completed it.
I could tell you who the guest is next week because don't we know when we're going to release this?
I don't know. No, I don't know. We'll see. Figure it out.
All right. So I don't know what you're pretending to know, what you're not pretending to know, what number you're pretending this episode to be. So let's just end it like this. It's a special episode. Joe's calling it the 100th episode. It's probably the 106th. And I suffer for the fish. And while I suffer dealing with Joe and his nonsense about 100th episode, maybe the 200th episode will be next week. I don't know. It's whatever Joe wants. Suffer for it.